And without further ado, I'd just like to introduce our first speaker, Paul Shepson of the NSF, as he prefers to be announced.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
You should not applaud before you hear someone speak, unless you're expressing your spiritual character. I've always regarded that as a form of prayer. Good luck with your prayers. So I'm really humbled to be speaking in front of this group of just incredibly accomplished people. It's great to see people in color. You know, looking through boxes of photographs from the 50s, you know, you come to think that that whole world was in black and white. I did live through part of it, so I know it was in color, and there were a lot of colorful figures like Walt Roberts that I'm excited to learn about, sort of how the past got us to the rich discipline that we're here to celebrate today. So I told Scott that you know, this is a celebration, so I'm only going to talk about upbeat things, reasons that NSF is excited about geospace science and solar physics and space physics. So nothing depressing. I won't say anything then about budgets. Just happy stuff, and just want to thank you for allowing me to babble. So it's been a very geospacey year for me. I'm an atmospheric chemist. I often focus on the first few nanometers of the surface. So part of my first geospacey year at NSF has been about educating myself about the excitement of this discipline. I also started out the year as the Walter Orr Roberts lecturer at the AMS meeting, which was also quite humbling for me, but very exciting. Walt and I have some connections through NSF, NCAR, UCAR, and HAO, but also Walt visited the Arctic with his twin-engine airplane, flew to Barrow, and some number of decades later, I did the same thing in my own twin-engine airplane that was purchased for me by NSF. It all seems sort of weird that I'm here now speaking about Walt, but I'm excited to do that. So I want to tell you, just give you a quick update about the great people at NSF who are shepherding NSF's support of geospace sciences. I couldn't do anything in this realm unless I was surrounded by great people who are a lot smarter than I am. So it's also been a geospacey year for me, in part because I've been working on hiring great people. So I'll start with Janet Kozira, who came to us in the fall of 2014 from UMich, and she's in the process of trying to take over. She's now acting section head and also the magnetospheric physics program director. So Janet is doing well. We also recently hired John Merriweather from Clemson. Just a few weeks ago, John started as program director for geospace facilities, and I asked him for a mugshot, and he gave me this, saying, "This is the best picture of me that there is." So I guess his point is that Susan keeps good company or something like that. I'm not sure what. So before John came on, we hired Kyle Baker as an expert. Kyle is a former geospace facilities program director. And Anne-Marie Schmaltner is on detail to chemistry. And so Shananda Basu, who I think many of you probably know, Shananda, who's a former aeronomy program director, has stepped in as an expert. And probably everyone knows Therese and Ilya Rusev, who's here with us today. So as I said, Shananda is helping out while Anne-Marie is on detail, and while we're conducting a search for the Geospace Sciences section head, Volodya Papatashvili has spent 8 months as interim section head. So I want to thank all these people for their service. So a framework that drives geospace sciences forward is in part the 2013 Decadal Survey for Solar and Space Physics with the DRIVE initiative. And I'm going to just say a few words about this initiative and components of it that make us excited about geospace science, and some of the things that some of the reasons that we think this is a fantastic era for geospace science. So among them is, among the components of DRIVE is diversifying observing platforms. And Scott mentioned CubeSats. There's no question that NSF is excited about CubeSats doing big science with little packages, and in the process of doing good science, engaging undergraduates. There's no question that NSF is going to continue in this area. Venturing forward with science centers and instrument and technology development. So the heater for Arecibo has come online about a year ago, and that's quite exciting. There are a variety of things that we're doing that are attempting to connect ground-based observations with satellite-based observations, like Ampere studying electrodynamics in the magnetosphere, SuperMag studying the Earth's magnetic field, and all of these things are being done in the context of a newly articulated need for understanding and predicting space weather. So speaking of space weather, I just want to make a comment about this memo from OMB and OSTP that was guidance to federal agencies in preparation for the FY17 budget request. And in there, under Earth observations, I think this is page 2 of the memo, space weather observations and R&D are essential to address the growing societal needs for accurate and timely space weather information. So this is an exciting time in the area of space weather, and this has been clearly articulated by the president. We're in the process of, Bill Murtaugh will probably tell me I shouldn't be saying what I'm saying, but I'll just say a couple things about the space weather action plan that was led by NSTC. So it calls for NASA and NSF to identify and support additional basic research opportunities related to the sun's activity and connects to and drives changes on Earth and its near space environment. NASA and NSF in collaboration, I like that, will be working on development and nurturing of research modeling centers, and Commerce and DOD in collaboration with NASA and NSF will develop a plan for a center related to space weather. So it's a great time for this discipline. In response to this need and other needs related to extreme events, NSF is promoting a couple new initiatives. One of them is Infuse, but another one is called Prevents. So Prevents stands for prevention of and resilience to extreme events. Prevents will focus on natural hazards and extreme events and will include the potential for disciplinary and multidisciplinary projects at all scales. Extreme events include space, quite notably, space weather events. So NSF is investing in this area, and we're quite excited about it. So there's lots of new developments, lots of things that we're excited about. We're always excited about the Mauna Loa Solar Observatory and the coronal multi-channel polarimeter. We're excited about the upcoming eclipse in 2017 and the G5 effort of that name. Of course, everybody's excited about DKIST, and so this is a relatively recent photograph of DKIST under construction. We're excited about new developments in modeling, in this case, modeling the magnetosphere and Wackham's efforts. We're excited about Cosmic 2 and what Cosmic 2 will do in the field of aeronomy. We're excited about partnership with NASA, and again, connecting satellite observations to ground-based observations, and two examples here are the upcoming ICON and GOLD efforts. I would be remiss if I didn't also focus on our efforts to nurture and promote the careers of early career scientists. So the E in DRIVE is educate. So NSF is always supporting activities focused on early career scientists, in part through CEDAR, GEM, and SHINE. And HAO also has been a leader in promoting early career scientists through things like the REU program and BOLD. BOLD. So I want to just mention that the geospace section is trying to organize itself in the context of a challenging budget scenario to enable us to make new investments in science and infrastructure. And in order to do that in a flat budget landscape, you have to look hard at the distribution of your assets and investments. So in order to do that, we're in the process of engaging this community in a portfolio review in which the committee, connecting to the community, is examining the balance across the entire portfolio, both for the science that we're doing and our investment in infrastructure. And this is just a timeline in where we just had the second portfolio review committee in person at NSF. It was incredibly productive, and I'm quite enthusiastic about, well, I shouldn't say I'm enthusiastic about this timeline. It's very challenging, but I am enthusiastic and sure that we're going to have a very thoughtful, very helpful final report. So all I really wanted to say is thanks for allowing me to be here. Every time that I'm engaging this community, I'm learning rapidly. I'm on a very steep curve. And congratulations, and I join you in celebrating the excitement of this discipline. Thanks.